Hey there everyone, as I wrap up the year and I start to head back home, I thought I should cover the action figure pack that actually got me back into collecting action figures this year in the first place. This is the Spider-Man Renew Your Vows 2-pack from the Marvel Legends line, essentially acting as a really nice way for me to be able to get my hands on a definitive Spider-Man action figure, so of course I was always interested. My partner actually bought this for me as a gift, and that's when I started to look at getting some villains to team up against him. Getting some villains and some Sinister Six members ended up leading to me collecting some Avengers members, which led to the creation of this channel. So this pack includes Spider-Man and Spinneret, who I had to Google and read a little bit about since I know nothing about this. It's Mary Jane, but she's a Spider-Man now, neat. The packaging here is that plastic-free windowless design, a design that I am actually a fan of, oops, and we have some artwork of the two here on the sides, and on the back we have a shot of the action figures and their accessories included, mostly just hands and head. Actually, in fact, it's only hands and heads. I've really loved having this pack over the past year, so let's get into it. Out of the packaging here we have the figures and their accessories. As I mentioned, hands and heads for each of them, and it's the same variants of hands as well. Now Spider-Man was my main selling point personally. I never once saw that retro carded figure in the country, just the Kingpin oddly enough from that first wave, so this was the closest I've seen to having a really good definitive looking Spider-Man Hasbro figure. Personally, I like my Spider-Man to be a bit brighter in his colours, but this does still work for me since I did grow up reading the Ultimate Spider-Man run of comics, games, and the cartoons. Spider-Man should always hopefully be impressive for the articulation since nothing should be holding him back. His head has full rotates here, but the back of that neck has a really weird exposed gap that I hadn't noticed until I was playing around with that Gamerverse figure from this year. His arms can move up and down, in and out, and he features some clavicle rotates too, which is great to see on these athletic type characters. He can rotate at his forearm, and he has that sweet double bend in the elbow. Hands can also rotate around and bend at the wrist. The exact same thing can be said for his other arm here, same bends everywhere. He can spin around in his rib section, and he can also rotate too in his upper chest. He's got some chest bends but no hip movements. His legs are free to come all the way out, and he can rotate his thigh here, double bends in the knee, nice to see, and he can also rotate his lower leg as well. His feet have movement for rotates and bends as well as toe movements. Spider-Man figures are always going to go all the way out for articulation. Now for his accessories, I'm a little disappointed actually. We have an alternate head of Peter Parker, which is great to see, and I'm surprised at how much of a rarity something like this is for a Spider-Man figure. That Gamerverse figure did not include an alternate head, which was a huge disappointment for me because the Miles Morales one did. The head's really cool, it feels like it's my kind of 2000s era of Spider-Man, so it works really well for me. As far as his hands go, they're really cool as well. We've got a set of these here opening crawling hands, web crawling, doing the job sort of thing, these closed fists here for fighting crooks and villains, and then he's got these really cool web thwipping hands. All great inclusions, but I'm really disappointed that there's not a single web included for either character here. Again, pieces that I didn't think should be a rarity. Spider-Man is great. I do have this exact type of figure in the Gamerverse one that released for Spider-Man 2 that came out around the midway point of this year, but this is my definitive comics one, unless they release one with better accessories and brighter colors again. I love the extra hands that are given for some various different styles, and the Peter Parker likeness head is really appreciated too. I just wish I didn't have to buy another Spider-Man figure in order to get some webbing accessories for him. This is Spinneret. She utilizes some really cool colors that I love. The bright white and red mixes so well on toys, and she even has some extra molded inclusions here with these little, almost like bell-bottom pieces on her feet. They can be moved around however you see fit for display purposes as well. MJ here is a very striking figure, and I also really love the hair that's molded on for her, which is a different design to the alternate head that's included as well. Some really great details overall. Her articulation is almost the exact same as Spider-Man, there's just a few tweaks in the body molding here. Full rotation for her head, traditional hinge piece that's been used so there's no weird neck gap, so that's already a plus for me. Her arms can move out and have movements for both up and down. She too can rotate her arms and features a great double bend in the elbows there. Same articulation as Spider-Man for her hands here too, bends and rotates, and the same thing for the other side of the figure. She can move around in the upper chest area and she has some bends and some rotates there, but no movements for her lower chest area, no hip movements either. Her legs can move outwards and include rotates for the upper leg there and some double bends in the knee. She also features some feet movement, but she does not include toe movement, and she manages to stand quite well. For her accessories, we have the same thing as Peter Parker, a special variant head, and different options for hands. I do really like that MJ head that's been included here, which could possibly be added for customs. The design here looks just dead on to the Mary Jane that I'm personally familiar with. The hair is a much longer style here, so articulation, it gets a little in the way. It's not too much of a big deal there though. MJ uses the exact same pair of hands as Spider-Man. Here she's got her open web crawling hands, here are her fists for fighting the bad guys, and these are her web thwipping hands for swinging around the city. And overall, despite not knowing anything about this iteration of the character besides the secret identity, I really like that figure. The striking colors and designs really stand out for me, and the totally different styled alternate head is also a great inclusion. But again, I really wish one of these figures had webs. I have this great duo pack to thank for getting me back into collecting again. Over the past year, I have thoroughly enjoyed making videos based on all of these sorts of items and building towards having a really great looking display eventually of Marvel Legends superheroes. These two are definitely some of my favorites for the collection, and I'm really happy to have them. If you enjoyed this look at a Marvel Legends Spider-Man Renew Your Vows 2-pack set, I would appreciate a like on this video and subscribing to this channel, which helps to support making more videos like this one. Thank you very much. I do hope to see you in the next video.